Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Bert the Stormtrooper and this is the home of That's Just Prime, the comprehensive Optimus Prime review series. I also review other Transformers, lots of G1 stuff, as well as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Ghostbusters, GoBots, and pretty much any other toy that may jump out at me. If you're new to the channel, thanks for checking me out. Please be sure to click that subscribe button and don't forget to give me a thumbs up and share if you like what you see. Hello and welcome, I'm Bert the Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be taking a look at a really cool piece of Transformers history. This is an actual licensed Transformers robot radio, and I love this toy, and I know what you're thinking. What do you mean this is licensed? I've never seen or heard of this. Well, sit back, kids, because this thing has a really cool story. The version that I have here in front of me is actually the original Japanese version before it became licensed. So this was made in 1985, and I'll show you the back of the radio here. That sticker, somebody else put that there, and I'm not taking it off. But you can see right there, this was made by Best Join Toys in 1985, made in Taiwan. However, this is stamped for the US, right? So right away, what? Okay, so this was made in the original Japanese versions of these were called Robo Terminal Robot Radios, and they did come available in both AM and FM radios. The version that I have here is an FM radio. We'll get into that in just a little bit. Now, this was back in 1985. Fast forward to 1987, there's a toy company in Argentina that got the license to make Transformers locally to them in Argentina. That company's name is Commando Toys, and you've probably, if you know your Transformers history, you've heard of some of the mini bots in weird colors that came out in Argentina. That was Commando Toys. Well, Commando Toys got the mold to make this radio as well, and they got the license to actually make this in actual Transformers. So in 1987, there was two versions of this: the cherry flavored that we'd have here in front of us, and the I'm going to call it the blueberry flavored version that I'm showing you here. And so yeah, like you can see here in the packages, these are actual licensed Transformers toys released by Commando Toys in Argentina. There were some minor changes made to these guys. The battery compartment was changed around, and they were AM radios, which were cheaper to produce. Not only because the actual radio itself is cheaper to produce, but you also don't have to put an antenna on it. So, and there was two minor mold differences, one on the head and one in the battery compartment. I'll get into those in a moment. But those officially licensed ones were actual AM radios, and they were, in fact, actual Transformers. Really cool piece of history right there. They were never given any name or anything like that. There was just a blue one and a red one, and you can make it whatever you want. Obviously, whoever had this before me decided to make him a Decepticon, and I'm going to keep it that way. So there you go. So here we have the actual radio itself, which measures approximately 6.5 inches wide here. It's about 3.5 inches tall here, 4.5 if you want to add the handle itself there. And as you can see, it's just a cool little boombox right there with some cool details. Now, all the details on here, these are just going to be stickers. The speaker grills, these are not the real speakers. In fact, the actual speaker or the sound that you're hearing out of this, it's only got the one speaker. It's going to be coming out of this little grill right here. It doesn't have an actual tape deck. This is actually the battery compartment. And the tuning lever here, or the tuning band here, also a sticker, because you're going to be doing all of your tuning right here on the back. So you've got your on and off volume knob, and then you've got your tuning knob right there, and you've got an antenna which can actually rotate all the way around. You can actually hinge it, and you can extend it, and it goes out quite a bit, as you can see right there. And of course, it's also bent, so I don't like doing that. I think that's the second and probably the last time I'm ever going to be extending that antenna. But there you go. Yeah, very cool little radio. Now, like I said, a couple of molding differences that were made between this original one and the actual licensed one. So as you saw right there, I just popped I pressed a little button down, and that's going to pop the door open, and then you can just flip it up the rest of the way. And this is your battery compartment right here. As you can see, it takes 2 AA batteries. And when I got this one, these batteries, or rather the connection points themselves, were corroded beyond repair. I actually had to open this thing up. I had to remove those and get some new ones and replace them and wire it all back up again to get it working. So very happy with the way that turned out. The actual officially licensed AM version is going to have a 9-volt battery in here instead of the 2 AA's. But either way, you pop your 2 AA's right there, and then you can close this up. Right up here on the top, if you look at the top of the radio, you can see the letters FM right there at the top of the radio. Of course, minor mode difference for the officially licensed one, that's going to say AM, because those are AM radios. So you pop your batteries in, and this is really cool. Watch this right here. I'm going to turn it on. Hopefully there's no music playing. Hopefully it's just people talking, because I don't want to get gigged. But you can see that that lights up right away. So there you go. There's an actual working radio right there. I'm going to turn it back down again just so we don't get into copyright infringement territory. But you can see the FM right there lit up, which is really, really cool. Let me turn that back off again. We'll set him off to the side, and we'll do a couple of comparisons. Here he is with SOUNDWAVE, the original cassette man, so you can see how those two stack up together. Set this guy off to the side. Here he is compared with Blaster, so you can see how these guys look like together. And of course, here he is with my AM radio robot, or robotic radio, from when I was a kid. That this one is an AM. And one thing I did not mention in his review is that there is a rare version of him in FM as well that you can get, but most of the time you're just going to find him in AM. But there you go. So you can see what these guys look like together. Now, I did show you a picture of the packaging for this guy. And I'll show you another one here. This guy did come packaged with a sword. And you're seeing it here, and you're probably noticing that sword looks an awful lot like G1 Megatron's sword. And it really did. It's almost identical, except for the handle. The handle was remolded so that this guy could grab it. Unfortunately, I don't have the sword. It's extremely impossible to find. Hopefully someday I'll come across one, but for now I'll just have to make do with this. All right, so getting into transformation, we're gonna go ahead and start with the legs themselves. This thing, wait till you see the robot mode on this thing, because it's almost kind of freaky. So check this out. So we're gonna, it's relatively intuitive. We're gonna start with the legs, bring these guys all the way down and all the way down, turn them, and flip up the foot. That probably looks really familiar to you right now. So we'll bring this down, turn it, and flip out the foot. Let me back up just a little bit, because we are going to get tall. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up this way and then go down a bit. All right, so yeah, those legs look oddly familiar, don't they? Watch, it gets better. Watch this. So the arms, they're just going to extend down, and then we'll just bring them out a bit. Same thing on this side. And that probably also looked very familiar to you. I like to come around the back here and just kind of move the antenna down. Let me turn them off again, because I want to show you something else in a minute. We'll bring down the handle. We'll bring up the head, and this is going to look familiar as well. There you go. And here we have our robotic radio in his robot mode. And here in robot mode, he stands approximately 9 inches tall. And there's a lot about what just happened that probably looked very familiar to you. This thing is so cool, because the legs, those are SOUNDWAVE's legs. The arms are Omega Supreme's arms, and that head is obviously Megatron's head. And there's been a molding change made to it, and you'll see why in just a moment. But I absolutely love this. So whatever just, was it Just Toys or Just Join? Best Join, whatever Best Join was doing, originally, before this became licensed, they were either in bed with Takara, or were a subsidiary of Takara, or maybe they were just ripping off Takara. I don't know, but obviously there's Transformer, or not Transformers, but rather Microman inspiration here, right? There's stuff happening here from Microman, or from Micro Change, and from all the other Robo lines that Takara had at the time, are all mixed in here. So this is just such a cool and interesting piece of Transformers history. I just find this thing so fascinating. Getting in close, let's look at articulation real quick. So the head can turn side to side. The arms can go forward and backwards all the way around, and they can go in and out at the bicep. They can rotate at the elbow, and they can bend at the elbow. They can also rotate at the wrist. How about that? This guy is just chock full with articulation. And then, of course, the legs. They got about as much leg articulation as Soundwave. He just stands there. He can turn at the knee. That's about it. He can go in and out a little bit. So if he got those wide battle stances, that's kind of about it. But yeah, there you go. He looks super cool. Now, taking a look at the head, again, that's very obviously G1 Megatron's head. Remember the part about the head that had the FM on it when you turned on the radio? Well, if you look over here, the eyes have been widened, and that's also part of the light-up gimmick. So when you turn it on, once again, you got some light-up feature right there. So what's really cool is if you turn this up all the way, just because of the way voltages work and the power distribution with these older toys, what happens here, if you turn the volume all the way up, there's just not enough juice to run everything at 100%. So what ends up happening is, as the people are talking, it's just a cool side effect. This is totally not done on purpose, but if you turn the volume all the way up, when people are talking, his eyes kind of blink on and off with the volume spikes, and it almost makes it look like he's the one that's doing it. Watch this.
I shopped around. I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $22 a month.
Isn't that cool? Again, that was totally not done on purpose. That's just simply because of the way that power distribution works with these older toys. It was just not an optimal thing back then. But it creates such a cool side effect when you turn that volume all the way up and those eyes just start blinking. If I could get this thing tuned into something cool, that would be the best thing ever. I absolutely love that. I am having so much fun. I absolutely just adore this thing. Let's get into a couple of comparisons one more time. So here he is with Soundwave, so you can see what these guys are. Cassette Man, so you can see what these guys look like together. And Soundwave being the more popular out of all the what do we want to call device robots, really kind of the smallest one. I've noticed lately he's just coming up short in all of the comparisons that I do. Here he is with Blaster. Blaster's a pretty big one, so they're about comparable size right there. And then finally, here he is with my other robotic radio. Very, very cool. Now, this one was never licensed or anything like that. I don't know how this one went under the radar and how this never became an actual Transformer. I don't know, because this is such a fantastic figure. This one is also a fantastic figure, did not go under the radar, and did become an actual licensed Transformer, at least in Argentina. Very, very cool. And I think that about does it for the Transformers licensed robot radio. What did you think of this figure? I absolutely love it. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Give me some thumbs up. Subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified every time I upload a new video. I've got a donate button up there if you want to hit on that. I certainly would appreciate it. Please share with your friends if you like what you see, and I'll talk to you next time.